truth can hurt you, or the truth can change you. What will truth do to you?
Hello there, my beautiful and handsome viewers and listeners. How are you today? How has your day been? Mine has been beautiful because I have got a beautiful mind. You are welcome to your reality talk show, Beautiful Mind. This is the show where we say no to stigmas, discriminations, and any judgmental attitude. On this show, we talk about issues that are considered as taboo. The people generally do not like to talk about publicly. We let them know that they don't need to suffer because help is readily available. Beautiful Mind believes that everyone deserves love and respect, regardless of their race, their color, their education, disability, religion, or even sex orientation. So you're welcome on board. Why don't you grab yourself a cup of tea and sit down and let us crack this show? And if you're just coming back from work, well done for a good job done today. How has your day been? Please, do you know that you can watch us on live on YouTube? Yes, you heard me right. Grab your remote TV and set for Beautiful Mind TV, and there you can find us. So, and please don't keep this goodness, yes, good that is about to happen to yourself. Help us share this show. Yes, let people know that it is time for Beautiful Mind. Remember that you can connect with us on this show by calling us on 079 603 91983. And if you're calling outside UK, please put +44 703 91983. And the topic we are discussing today is unbelievable. Yes, you heard me right. What is your take? I want to hear your take, and that is why you cannot leave this show with just myself and my guest. I want to know your take on the video that have gone viral, about the excursion that happened in Dubai. What is your take? I really want to hear you. I want to hear your take about this topic. And I have a very special guest. I know you've met her before. Yes, she's been on the show a couple of times. So she is not new and Beautiful Mind. But she has humbly accepted our invitation this afternoon again. So please help me show her some love. And how can you do that? By sharing this video and sharing some heart. Let her know that we value her a lot on this show on Beautiful Mind. Right, Pauline, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for joining us. I know a lot of people know you, but for the benefit of some people that are coming across you for the very first time, can you please introduce yourself to my viewers and listeners?
Yes, thank you so much for that. And thank you for inviting me to your show, Yinka. It's always a privilege and an honor to engage in very meaningful conversations. And I'm really excited about today's. My name is Pauline Lehman. I'm an author speaker. I'm a wife and mother of three. I'm an academic life coach. I am a mentor, a parenting mentor. My passion is to support parents through their parenting journeys because I believe that strong families and strong nations are built on strong families. So when the family is strong, the nation is strong too. So I have a passion for education, for family, for marriage, for everything family, really.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I want to say thank you to your husband for allowing you to be the woman God has ordained you to be, and to your beautiful daughters that have allowed mommy, to just fly. Thank you very much for laying
Thank
aside
you.
everything to be here with us this afternoon. We're going to crack into the show today. So please, we're gonna play a short video. It's short. We're not gonna play it, full length because we are running behind time. So we're just gonna play this video. Please watch it And whilst you're watching it, help us to share this video as well. Let people know that Beautiful Mind is live. I will see you shortly. I'm so sorry about that. We don't know what's going on. We played it and it was, everything was fine just few seconds ago. But unfortunately, the volume is not coming out. But I promise you, I'm going to share the video after, the show. And basically, what was inside the video, you might want to ask me, is about the mother of a 10-year-old student of Chrisland school crying out for help and demanding justice. On Beautiful Mind, we don't show inappropriate video. I have not seen the video itself, and I've read people's comments and reactions online, and I do not have the intentions of watching it. And if you have, please repent. And this is what we're going to be talking about today as well. And if you have the phone on your phone, please delete it straight away. It's not something that you should have with you. We're going to talk about more on that. But our discussion today will be based on the information that we have gathered online. So please bear with us. They say, and I quote, that a young girl was found in an immoral act with some boys, and some people actually recorded, the boys recorded her. So Pauline, I'm sure you've seen the video, and you must have heard about the video as well. What's your thoughts about this video culturally, morally, and religiously?
Yes, no, I haven't watched the video actually, Yinka. I haven't watched it, and I think that it is not right to watch such a video if I come across it. You don't want to be, it's a bit like watching porn, which I wouldn't want to mess up my spirit. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, so talking about this video, it's very sad. I think it brings sadness to realize that young children, because apparently the children were of age 10, I suppose because the girl was 10, that there is so much going on there. You have, apparently, from what people say, there's actual sexual intercourse. People think it wasn't rape. Again, it's difficult to really kind of like make a conclusive take a conclusive stand because I didn't watch it. But from the comments I've read, just like you, it didn't seem like a rape. It seems like a voluntary thing going from one boy to the next. So I think it's really appalling. It's sad to see what our modern society has become, that children age 10 have that level of exposure. I've, however, seen the video. I think the girl has a page on Likey. I think it's an app. So she has an app where she posts, apparently she's posted about 500 videos. So I've seen, through somebody's link, I've seen some of the videos, few clips from her site. And when you look at it and you think about it being a 10-year-old girl, having such dances, doing such dances, it's very, very disheartening as a parent's point of view. It is sad. I mean, if it was my daughter, there would be a lot of sadness, and you'll be asking yourself lots of questions. Culturally, where we come from, again, There is nothing positive about it. Wherever you are, there is no positivity around what has happened. And I believe that we will be unpicking different aspects of that in
Thank
our
you.
talk today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for saying this publicly as well, that you've not seen the video and it will upset your spirit. When you said that, I actually loved that, and I believe that everything, every word that we're going to be saying here this afternoon is to provoke something in us as a parent, as a society, and is to educate us and to make us to be more aware of some certain things, some things that we have to unlearn in our culture, in our behavior, in our beliefs. And that's what all this show is going to be, all about this afternoon. It's going to be informative, educative, and spirit lifting. So please do not go anywhere. And again, if you haven't shared this video, please help us share this video, because I trust Pauline a lot. She's a woman of substance. She's a woman that knows her stuff, and what she will be sharing with us today is something that money cannot buy. Pauline, it is unfortunate that we cannot show the video of the mother, but from the video, the mom said that our daughter was actually drugged. And according to those that have seen the video, I believe you said something about it as well, that the young girl did not behave in a way that it was her first time that she was doing such thing. Do you think, or what do you think, or who should we hold responsible here? Is it the parents, the school, or the society, Pauline?
Wow, that is huge. That question is quite huge. In terms of responsibility, I think that I'll go based on the word of God. The Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. So I believe that training of a child is a parent's responsibility. It's not the responsibility of the school. It's not the responsibility of the society. If you leave it to society, it's getting worse. So we can't even dare allow society to train our children. So I would also not necessarily want to throw the blame 100% on the parent. I don't know the parents parenting and everything, but I imagine that being in an African context, maybe an affluent home where there is very little control. I believe, a lot of people think in Africa that, okay, if I'm wealthy, I need to give my children these devices. I need to, they spoil the children, and probably very little time is spent with the child. So I think that parents need to play their own role in terms of openly discussing issues to do with relationships. Very, very important in our day and age. As you know, relationships are being redefined pretty much daily in our modern society. So it's so paramount for parents to talk about relationships, to talk about puberty with their children, because this girl was 10, to talk about why your body is changing, why has God designed your body to change in these ways, and how on the impact of some of these changes. It's important for children to know that when the hormones kick in, you're going to have, for a girl, breasts, so you can now, you start to have periods, which means that your ovaries are making eggs and you can carry a pregnancy. You need to know that during puberty, you will start to be attracted to the opposite sex. You'll be interested in relationships. So how do you navigate these relationships? So you want to find out, have these parents had these conversations, which help adolescents to navigate, help children to navigate adolescence. And as we talk about relationships, we're talking about boundaries. If
Yeah.
you are a Christian, you have a Christian background like you and I, we want to talk about, God's desire for us to maintain our purity until marriage. So if you have to maintain your purity until marriage, how do you go about doing that? What are the things that can tempt us into wanting to yield to the flesh? Because truly the flesh is there. I tell my children, you have this attraction. The crutches are real because it is God's way of ensuring that you are responding correctly and at the right time you're attracted to the opposite sex. God has
Opposite sex.
designed it that way, and we can't downplay it or make it seem sinful. But what we do is we teach children how to go through this phase successfully without yielding to it. Now, the next phase of conversations parents need to be having is, okay, if you've got girls, then you need to talk to the girls about boys. Okay? So similar things, similar changes are happening in the lives of boys. Boys will be attracted to you. Boys who want to explore, they want to, experiment. Okay? What is it that triggers boys? Touching triggers boys. Playing, flirting triggers boys, which a lot of young girls might do without knowing. But when you equip your child, you have to, the way you present yourself, the way you dress, you don't want to put all your body outside because God has designed women to be attractive. So if you show your body outside, then you may attract the wrong people, to you, and you may not be able to deal with it. So those are very, very important conversations that parents need to have repeatedly with their preteens, with their teens. Look for teachable moments to keep re-emphasizing this. And then
Wow.
going on a trip. Your child is leaving home to Dubai on a trip. You have a responsibility as a parent. If you've been conversing with your child and you have this open kind of conversation about anything and anything, then you need to give them as you pray for them, you give them some advice,
Thank you.
some do's and some don'ts. Remind them of their values. Remind them you don't need to find yourself in a boys' room. There are common areas. Anyway, it's a mixed school. It wasn't a single sex school, so it was a
Yeah.
mixed school. So
Yeah.
because you're going to be interacting with boys there, sometimes, even with the best supervision, sometimes the teachers or the supervisors are not there 24 hours, if you look at how it works in the UK, for educational trips or visits, in primary school, there's a ratio of one adult to 10 to 15 children, depending on the key stage. And for secondary school, it's a ratio of one adult to 15 to 20. So it's still a big group.
Yeah.
So anything can still happen. And that is why the aspect of sending your child away, reminding of them of, your values, your family values, how to respect yourself. Because when you give yourself to boy easily to play with, you are somehow devaluing yourself. So how to carry yourself, the do's and don'ts. And I think that, those are some important conversations that should have happened before the child actually leaves home. But now
Okay.
this situation
Thank
is
you.
slightly different, Yinka, because when we look at the girls' a social media page that she has and has about 4,000 something views, you see that having this conversation maybe the day before the trip or as the child goes might not have made so much of a difference because this child has already acquired some exposure. You get
Wow,
what I mean?
that's my next question, Pauline. I
Okay.
love it that you're ahead of me. Like I said to you, viewers, what you are going to be hearing this afternoon is not gonna be juicy part. When people talk about what is trendy, sometimes it's because they want to gossip. But on Beautiful Mind, we are not doing that. What you are going to be hearing here this afternoon is something money cannot buy. We want to change this world. We want to change the society. And that change comes from you and I. And that is why we are doing this show this afternoon. So please, if you haven't shared this video, that is a cue there for you to help us share this video, because what Pauline will be sharing with us here this afternoon is not what money can buy. I love that ending note, Pauline. And I say this, that no child is born like that. The source of influence needs to be investigated and corrected, and that is what we are doing this afternoon. Where do you think she might have learned those kind of behavior from? I saw some of them dancing moves on social media, and I'm like,
Shocking.
God, what
Shocking.
is this? What is this? It's really, really shocking. And you touch on the mode of dressing as well. It is just so, I don't know. Can you please mention, Pauline, who and what are those kind of things that can influence our children?
Okay, to become like sexualized. I
Yes.
think that when I see a 10-year-old doing those videos, two things come to mind. She has a phone or a tablet, iPad, whatever we want to call it. She has a device that she uses without it being monitored. So how much time she spends on it is not monitored. We could see that she's doing this in her room, in her home. We can see probably that it is a home where the parents are not there. Maybe they are out working, and things like that. And possibly maybe we just have a house help or something like that taking care of the children. Now, the very first thing I would say is that the phones that and the devices that we give to these children to own is the primary source, I would say, of allowing the world to come into our homes. Because when we give a child a device that has probably a lot of parents are not, don't have parental controls on devices in their homes. So you give your child this device, they have unlimited internet, meaning that basically your world has come into the house.
Yeah.
So what do you expect to happen? So the first thing advice I would give to parents regarding these phones is avoid handing phones and devices to children very early. Children in primary school.
Pauline, I think we have a caller on the phone. I'll
Okay.
just stop you there a minute.
Okay.
Good afternoon, caller. Please, what is your name and where are you calling from, please?
Yes, good afternoon. How are you? My name is Toluloka. I'm calling from Manchester.
Thank you. Do you have a contribution or a question for my guest for our show today?
I think I have both, but I will start with a question to the guest. My sister can look at my question to you. What's your take or what's your thoughts of giving the devices, and when I mean device, I mean telephone and iPad to 7, 8, 9, 10 years old without being properly monitored?
So, Pauline, can you hear the question? I think she
Yes,
was just touching
I
on
was
it.
just touching on that. Yes.
So, what is the contribution? Maybe she can continue.
Because my take on that is there's no how you can give all these devices at that early stage that you'll be able to monitor that properly. I know she mentioned about the parents the other time. I believe it was a parent that would have bought these devices for a 10-year-old girl. And for her to be doing this, she must have been doing that maybe in her room or maybe in her friend's room. From my own take, I would say it's too early for the ladies or boys at that age to be having the devices. I know times move faster. In my own time, I was given a Bible to do with it. But if you say it now, they will say, oh, yes, we're in the 21st century. But the 21st century is actually killing. I'm so sorry. I know I'm on here and I'm really upset because I have a daughter. I'm so sorry. Before I start dating, I was in my 20s. Before I started dating, I was in my 20s. But now, for a 10-year-old girl or a boy to know about kissing, to know about sex and about lovemaking, going to an hotel, it's down to the parents. The parents, they are nonchalant. They just leave them, just get on the tablet and let them get busy and they go to work. So it's we parents, I'm not talking about us, I'm only just generalizing. It's we parents are actually destroying the future of our children unknowingly. So that's just my contribution.
Thank you. Thank you very much for calling. Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Manchester. Cheers, Steph.
All right, thank you very much. Please continue enjoying the show and help us share the video as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Pauline, what have you got to say about that?
Okay, yes. Let me finish up then, because I was talking about that before the
Yeah.
caller interrupted. Well, he didn't interrupt. He called to give to make his contribution and ask his question. So yes, I don't particularly see any reason why a child in primary school needs a phone. If they travel to school, maybe yes, 5 or 6 travel to school on their own, then yes, they could have a simple device with limited internet to kind of keep connected to, so you can find out where they are. But as soon as they get home, the device should be taken away because they don't need it. Not only because they're exposed to the world, but because of the addiction that they get to, and their minds really don't need to be addicted to those devices right now. Now, the second thing is that when you then give them a device, it's advisable not to give them unlimited internet, to put in the parental controls into these devices, to be in control of the devices. So if a parent wants to buy a phone maybe for a child who is in secondary school, get them to sign a contract. Before you give them a phone, don't tell them the phone is their property. I've worked with a lot of parents who really struggle to discipline their children by taking away the phone because the children fight them. Now they fight you because when you bought the phone with your money, you gave it to them and told them this is your phone. No, it is a family phone. It belongs to the family. So the family knows the passwords. The family, if the contract terms of the contracts are not adhered to, then you will lose your privilege to use your phone or your tablet or iPad for, maybe half a day, 1 day, or something like that. This is so important. It gives you, the parent, the power, so that when they become teenagers, they know that the phone is not theirs. It is a privilege to get a phone. Now, when they now get the phone, as they become older teenagers, monitor screen time. Decide for yourself how much time you want your children to spend on it. There is so much children can do with their spare time that I don't think even teenagers need to be able to, especially younger teenagers, need to be able to have complete control of their phone, sleeping with them. No, they should have limited time to spend on them. And then the phone sleep, in your bedroom or in a place where all phones are charged. This is very, very useful in reducing addiction. Now, that is one of the sources of exposure to sexually explicit images. Mm-hmm. Now, the other way in which children are exposed to these images are through the things we watch, okay? Through the things that we watch, the movies we watch. Now, I want to ask you as a parent watching today, how knowledgeable are you on film classifications? So in the UK, we have the UPG 12, A12, 15, 18, R18. How familiar are you with these? So if your children are watching something, how will you know if it is appropriate? So we need to educate ourselves on that. Talk to our children about the need to watch, to expose yourself to age-appropriate content, and to be able to even say, no, I'm not going to watch this. So it could be movies, documentaries. Let's think about the music, Yinka, that young people listen to.
I know.
Have you listened to some of the rap music? They are heavily sexualized, heavily sexualized. That is what children are dancing to on TikTok and all the other social media. So they are listening, so constantly feeding their minds with sexual information. The Bible says somewhere that do not stir up love until it so desires. So when these children are exposed to these things, and it starts to go in their subconscious, so they are watching movies, music movies. Some of the music movies from some of these musicians are sad to watch. To see that these things, so yes, we said, okay, they should not watch porn, but some of the music videos are as bad as that. They are watching it, and it's going into your subconscious mind. And that is something that brings about curiosity. That is something that stirs up curiosity in the little boys especially, and they want to experiment with the girls. So it's so important that we are able to have these conversations with the children
With the
about
children.
with the children, yes, about what we are exposing ourselves to. Talk to
Thank you.
children about keeping your body safe from abuse. Your body is vital. You are your greatest asset. If your mind is damaged, because these images damage the mind. So once your mind is damaged, once your mind is polluted, it brings condemnation, it brings sadness, it brings trauma, it brings depression. Once that is damaged, it takes a long time to get you out of that trauma. You need to go through therapy. So let's talk to our children. Your private part is private. Your body belongs to you. No uncle or anybody should touch it. The places
That's
that are
it.
covered are places that should not be touched. And if anybody wants to touch it, talk to your mom about it. And that takes us to the aspect of really parents, let us encourage free communication in our home. Maybe in our upbringing, in our background, we had very little communication with our parents. But in this generation, we cannot raise our children in this way. We
Like
need
that.
to
No.
keep talking to our children about everything and
Everything.
anything. They are teaching about sexuality now, right? Introducing different forms of relationship in primary school. Are you going to keep quiet and be ashamed and think it's a taboo? No. We need to go ahead and teach the children the right things that they need to hear. And,
Thank you.
and don't be shocked. The things that make children shut up is when they come and tell you, I have a cross, and you are shocked, and you start to criticize, you start to tell them the devil has entered into them, let's pray for you, and all those things. You scare them away, and I tell you, you're telling them to keep quiet and not to talk. When children make mistakes, we correct them.
Correct them in
We
love.
don't punish them. Okay, because a mistake is human. Disobedience is corrected in different ways. We give a consequence, which you can call a punishment. Okay,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be physically violent. But a
Thank you.
mistake needs to be corrected through teaching. So if a child makes a mistake and you are harsh, I tell you, they're not going to talk to you next time.
The next time, no.
They will not converse
Thank
with
you.
you. No. So how
Thank
else
you.
do children become sexualized? They become
Thank
sexualized
you.
through, okay, Yinka, that's fine, sorry.
I think my other guest, which I said I'm going to surprise everybody, has just joined us all the
Oh,
way
please
from
don't.
Nigeria. Yes, the one and only Ronka Posh is in the house. Can you please introduce yourself for the benefit of those that do not know you? I hope you can hear me and see me clearly. Oh no, I don't think she can hear me. But
I
we
can
are
hear
so
you.
Oh,
I can.
great, great. You don't know how excited I am in my spirit that this woman finally have got time. She has been going through a lot of different interviews. All the, national TV have been inviting her to talk about this topic we are discussing today. And she did a video yesterday, and I said, this woman needs to come and talk about this video on today's show. If you haven't shared this show right now, this is the time for you to share it because it's getting really, really interesting. Ronka, can you please introduce yourself to my viewers and listeners?
Okay. Good evening, and thank you for inviting me. I wear many hats, so but for the benefit of what we'll be talking about, I will call myself the head of school at Le Posh School, the very best school, Parkview Estate, in Lagos, and I'm a child advocate. I'm a parent coach as well, so that will do. Obviously, a public speaker. Those are the things that I do that apply to this context.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ronka, for joining us. I know you're very, very busy, and I'm not taking it for granted at all. Before you join us, Pauline has been doing fantastic job. She's been helping us, educating us on how it is to be friend with our children, to educate them on different things, and not to be too harsh on them. So I have this next question, and I want to ask you, Ronka. I've been hearing people. Maybe I should start from what I saw from from that video from people going away to Dubai. I see in that video, I saw negligence and safeguarding issues. Do you agree with me, Ronke? And do you think there should have been another way or a better way the school would have done or should have done when they were going away?
There was definitely negligence in the duty of care. Safeguarding wasn't the best. That's not to say they didn't try, but perhaps the excitement of Dubai, you know, go shopping at night, they probably had gone and left the kids there, assuming that they'll behave themselves. But we must not assume that children will behave themselves. So there was a failure in the duty of care in that context, definitely.
Thank you very much. And Pauline, is there any better way they should have, you know, done this? I know you've been a teacher yourself. What do you think that you want to, you know, advise, you know, for better, you know, for next time?
I think that, you know, from the context of the United Kingdom, before a school trip is planned, there is a risk assessment that is made to ensure safety, the safety of the children. And then they have the right ratio of adults to children while on the trips. And then they have teacher or supervisor responsibilities, as if it's an overnight trip, especially checking that the children have gone to bed. And, you know, there are a set of code of conduct which parents read with their children and sign the document. And the school also goes through it with the children going on the trip. So again, I'm not too familiar. I believe that it's going to be the same. Any responsible school, be it in Africa or here, would have to carry out that same risk assessment. So I don't know if obviously it's duty of care, as Ronke says, where probably you know, things were not followed through, because I'm not sure why this child was hanging around on the corridors and nobody picked it up. So I think that there was something that was a bit loose there.
Yeah, thank you very much for, you know, spotting that out. Ronke, I have been hearing people discussing about the age of innocence, so I really want you to help us this afternoon. What does it mean for the benefit of those that do not know? And can I, you know, I will leave you to answer that first before I ask something else.
As much as we can, we need to preserve the innocence of our children as much as we can. We understand that we are not in total control of our children. They are going to go out and they're agents of socialization out there. And that includes the school, that includes the churches, the mosques, the temples, that includes the salons that they go, the birthday parties, anywhere that you take your child to, there's an adult there, there are children there. These are all agents of socialization and they can influence your child in one way or the other. So you must be mindful of the places and the exposure you have for your children. You must be mindful of the devices and access to the media that they have. There's a lot of filth out there, so the work is a lot. So parents do have to be intentional about it. They just can't keep having children and be negligent about it. We have a culture in Nigeria where we outsource parenting to third parties. We have a lot of domestic workers. Children actually have their own nannies, their own house helps, their own drivers, and they do say my driver. We have that culture, you know, we have the big manism going on in Nigeria. And yeah, and as a result, these children have a lot of exposure. The children 9, 10, 11, whatever the age may be, as long as they're under 18, they're all kids and they shouldn't be engaging in that sort of behavior. Having said that, this has come in the limelight. It is happening. Home and abroad, it is happening. Children are engaging in sexual intercourse and inappropriate activities like that. It is happening, and that is not to say that we should continue to encourage it, or we shouldn't even encourage it at all. That's not to say we shouldn't be mindful of what they are doing. We must, but we must not pretend not to know that they do this, because we know that children engage in sexual activities. They touch themselves, even at play dates. Girls and girls, boys and boys, they explore. They want to touch each other. We know that they want to do these things. We know they see these things on the internet and cartoons. So we must not play ignorant. We must be mindful. We must be watching them like hawks when we take them out. My daughter would not go to a play date where a nanny is the one in charge, and we do have things like that in Nigeria. I will not expose her to, we want to be woke. in Nigeria, and we want to have parties where they will tell you to drop your children and go away. And they've invited my daughter to a party like that. I'm like, go away. I'm like, oh, we don't want parents, we don't want nannies. And like, oh, hello, okay, in this Nigeria. And I won't do that, because if anything happens, they will say sorry in Nigeria. At least in the Western world, I've lived in the UK for close to 20 years, and they will tell, somebody will go down. There are consequences for negligence. In Nigeria, it is sorry. They will tell you sorry. At the end of the day, this girl is not going to get justice. You and I know that, or a lot of us know that she's not going to get any justice. But the least they can do for her is to make sure that she gets professional help. She needs professional help. It was statutory rape. It happened amongst two minors. The school needs to help her to move forward. And the society is condemning her. And we live in this environment where it's very patriarchal. Nobody's talking about the boys. The girl's mother has come out. We don't know anything about the boys and their parents, or the girl's dad. It's only the girl that is being castigated. She's the one that everybody's digging her dirt and going to her likey page and bringing all sorts out, like she did it on her own. So as much as we must preserve the innocence of our children, we must empower our girls and let them know that when they engage in such activities, they will go down. They are the ones that the society are going to slander. They're the ones that are going to get pregnant. They're the ones that are going to carry the baby, have the backache, have the labor, everything. This is a case study for every parent that has a child. It is 8 and above. You just sit those children down and let them know the consequences of actions like that. The boys will get away with it. They often get away with it. Unfortunately, we live in that kind of environment. They call us feminists, but we're still fighting for that equality. So for now, we must do all we can to preserve the innocence of our children.
To protect our girls. Thank you very much. I still have a question on I wrote it down here in my script because I do not want to forget. Where is the boy? But before I get there, I want to ask Pauline something. This video we're talking about has gone viral. People started digging things out. How do you think this will affect this girl, this beautiful girl, this glorious girl, confidence? How do you think it will affect her confidence, Pauline?
It's a very, very traumatic thing for anybody to imagine that people are watching, sexual activity she's involved in worldwide. So it is very, very traumatic, and it's going to affect her self-confidence, definitely. And it's important that this child, as Ronke said, seeks, or the parents get this child to go through therapy to help her go through this, successfully and re-become herself. So yes, it's definitely going to damage her.
Thank you. I'm coming back to you, Ronke. What are the causes and effects of child sexualization and the ways to tackle it? Or is there no way we can tackle this? Are we just going to fold our hands out and just allow it to continue?
We're going to have this continue to a very large extent. For parents that choose to be intentional, then they can curb it, or they can even avoid it. But if you're not intentional, then your children will engage in such activities. It's all about being intentional. In our time, we had girls that were pregnant. I went to a girls' school. So where did they get the man? How did she get pregnant? So you can just imagine. So it's been happening. But there were others that are upright and moral as much as they possibly can. So if you do the job as a parent, if you do your best, and then you leave the rest to God, train up that child in the way the child should go. And when that child should grow up, they will not depart from the ways of the Lord. They might go and stray in one way or the other, but not at age 10 doing such activities. And to be honest, it's a bit much if it's an intentional parent. But I do believe in the power of intentional parenting. I do believe in the power of being present in the lives of your children. I do believe in having a strong emotional connection, a strong bond between your children where they can come up to you and tell you absolutely anything, and they're not afraid. You see, we have a culture where we beat our children a lot in Nigeria. People beat their children. And I have a book called 101 Tips to Curb the Beating and the Shouting. And in that book, I've given 101 strategies that you can use. But a lot of people like lazy parenting. So when they strike those children, when they have challenges, they're not able to talk to their parents. If you listen to the video of the mom of Princess J, as I've named her, if you listen to her mother's video, she said they had beaten her. And then she said, "Can I talk?" Can I say something? Can I talk? Can I say something? And that was when she said that she had threats that if she told her parents, she'll be killed. This is what her mother said. Now, perhaps she would have told her mother if she didn't fear that she would be beaten at home. She didn't want to go to school because there was fear as well. So she's been living in fear for a month of this act. So this girl is going through a lot. Even an adult can't handle it. She needs help before she commits suicide, because I'm very sure that she knows what that is. If she knows how to do that, she's going to know what suicide is. So we need to hold her hand. The nation needs to stop it. She's suffering and she's going to suffer for the rest of her life. She will, irrespective of the therapy. She needs a new name, a new school, new friends, possibly a new country. She needs to be rebranded. She needs to be cleansed and made whole again. She needs to be loved.
Wow.
That's what she needs.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for that, Ronke. I really like that. I think I've got a question for you. This internet will not freeze on me now. I bind you. Right, I think you're back now. I've got a question for you on it was just frozen for a few seconds.
Looking good
there.
here, got my bars.
Yeah. Right. I've got a question on somebody Tolu on Facebook and saying, Ronke, would you say the young lady followers on social media are part of the problem? What do you have to say to that?
Well, I don't like to blame other people. If she's not on social media, she would not have followers. And that's just the way it is. So the challenge is her access and exposure to that sort of platform at that age, and the activities that she's engaging in on there. So there should have been parental control, some people monitoring her. She had, according to what I read online, she had 526 videos. Where did she find the time to create 526 videos? I'm in the media every other week. I'm talking about one thing or another every other week. I don't have 526 videos on my YouTube channel. I do understand that these videos are short videos anyway. However, she shouldn't have that much access. When my daughter was her age, she didn't have a phone. Well, it depends on her age anyway, because it's arguable these days. People are saying she's this, she's that, she's whatever the age may be. So I really don't know her age anymore. But even now, my daughter is 16. She doesn't have her phone during the week, except they have online school. She doesn't go to bed with her phone when we're all there. There's nothing to. And then she has Instagram, but she has to use it through my phone. You see, she has parental controls. If she goes to a site that is inappropriate, it will flag off. And it doesn't even flag off because we've talked about this sort of things. She knows
what is expected of her.
Yeah, she knows what is expected of her. My daughter, by the time she was 10, I had told her about sex. I told her about masturbation. I had told her about so many things. She knew reproduction. She knew everything. I mean, when she went to school, she told me that some of her friends were rubbing Vaseline on their chest because they wanted their breasts to grow. And she found it funny because her mom had taught her. She knew these things. So you see, when you tell your children these things, then the curiosity is not as much. But when they don't know, they want to explore, they want to find out, and then they get into the wrong hands and to the wrong activities, and they do these things. If I go out now and leave my phone with my 16-year-old, I'm almost so confident that it's not pornography that she wants to watch. That's not what she wants to watch, because there's a relationship there, and it's not about me, it's about her and her own God. The relationship that they both have at this point in time. I'm still telling people that the dependency of your children should not be on you as a parent, but on God, the fear of God. They should fear and know God, and then that will convict them when they want to do such things. But a lot of children, a lot of parents don't teach their children. See, parents in Nigeria, I would speak because I'm in the educational system. When they come around and they're looking for schools, they want schools that they can brag about when they go to their parties. They want to have the fancy curriculum. They want to have the special IT centers. They want to have fancy Mother's Day events. They want to come to the sports day and dance. They want to, they want to just show off. The things that don't matter are the things that are relevant to them. They don't even ask, do your children use the magic words? What are the 5 magic words? Do they have values? Are they honest? Do they greet their elders? Are they respectful? Are they people of integrity? Are they leaders? No, those are not the values that matter to the typical average woke Nigerian parents. So when they do that, all those things are happening there. They can't play ignorance. You see, I have 2 friends in that school, and they've had their PTA post this event, and you still find that excuse me, some of the parents are still saying, They should gag other parents. They don't want it to come out. They are aware that their children are doing these things. You see,
Oh my
the mothers
God.
especially, they are the ones that are causing this one. They're the ones that are destroying the lives of these children. And some of these people are learned people, people that travel and are supposed to have an open mind.
The
They're very, very
expose,
aware.
yeah.
But they want, no, I don't call them exposed. They're supposed to be exposed. But their minds are poor. You see, poverty is not a state of the pocket. Poverty is the state of the mind and the
Of the
spiritual state
mind,
of somebody.
yeah.
They are bankrupt spiritually, they are bankrupt morally, and as a result, they outsource their parenting to third parties. They are not present, they're always online on Instagram, so they can't tell their children not to be online.
Not
They
to be
don't
on
pray.
it.
The children don't even know the Lord's Prayer. A lot of children don't know anything. They can't pray. They don't even know the grace, not to judge them, but to make them aware that the basic things that we learned as children at school and at home, it doesn't happen anymore. Children don't even
Wow.
say simple prayers anymore. This is Africa. We're not in the UK. We have not borrowed the British or American
Culture.
curriculum to the point that we don't even say a prayer before a meal. We are not a spiritual or religious institution, but we do know that our values includes our religion, our tradition includes our religion. We say please, thank you. We kneel to or
To
bow
greet
to
an
greet our
elderly
adults.
person.
But even today, I walked past about 100 children this morning. I went to drop my daughter off, and I passed about 100, 80 to 100 children in a hall, and none of them greeted me. I don't think I'm that tiny. I'm
No, you're
5'8",
not.
I'm very beautiful, and none of them greeted. That goes to tell you something,
Yeah,
that a lot of
yeah.
people, they don't teach their parents anything. We have a problem in our hands, and a lot of the problem is in the hands of the mothers, and because the mothers permit the husbands to be absent.
Wow. Thank you very much for all these things that you've been able to identify, outline, I'll say, to host this afternoon. And as a mother, watching, as a parent, because I know we have a lot of people on YouTube watching us right now, thank you very much for joining us. Like I said before, what you'll be hearing this afternoon is not something that will be very, very juicy, but it's something that would transform your mind. It's something that would transform your lives, and it would take your parenting to another level. And that is what we're doing this show. We're not here to focus on the problems. We're not, Ronke Posh did a video yesterday, saying that we are so quick to crucify other people, but we don't search ourselves. We don't look at our own lives. How am I parenting? This is the question I want you to be asking yourself this afternoon as you're joining us this afternoon. Do I need to change in some certain areas? What are the things that I need to change? What are the things I want to take away from this show this afternoon? Thank you very much. What these wonderful, beautiful women are sharing with us this afternoon are not what money can buy. They are values that when we add it to our lives will make us to be a better parent. Thank you very much. If you're joining online on YouTube, Chima, thank you very much. Abimbola, thank you. That's a brilliant idea. Sign contract. That phone is a family phone. They will become conscious of what to download and what to visit on the phone. Age appropriate content. Also the music. Thank you. Comfort is saying well spoken, and Pauline. Comfort is saying thank you to Ronke Posh as well for joining us. Thank you very much. If I didn't read your comment, that's because maybe I've not seen it. Please keep sending them in. Let these wonderful women know that they are doing a fantastic job by sending a lot of comments in share them out on Facebook as well. Thank you very much. Right, Pauline, Ronke mentioned about the boys earlier on before, and I have it down here. I've read a lot of things online. I've seen a lot of comments, and everybody is just castigating, throwing stones on the girl. They're not saying anything about the boys. Why is that? Are they empowering the boy to continue to do what they're doing? Even when we talk about domestic violence, it is just they don't talk about the man. They talk about just the woman. Why? What are they silent about the boys?
I think, as Rock has said, that we live in a very patriarchal society where the man can easily get away with adultery, having girlfriends out of the home, but if it is a woman, then it becomes a problem. And because society, it's acceptable for men to behave that way within the society, it transcends to the children. So the mothers will be telling the girls, as we said, will tell your daughters, you'll be the one pregnant and everything. But I don't think that the fathers are doing much work with the boys. The fathers are not doing much work with the boys. And when situations happen, society condemns the girl, because that is a type of society in which we find ourselves. And it is very, very sad, because we need to raise our children to take responsibility for their actions, whether you're a boy or a girl. If you abuse the girl, again, we are in Africa, but if we're here, then the boys will face responsibility for raping the girl too. So I think that our society, our community in Africa, in Nigeria, wherever we're from in Africa, needs to change. We need to put laws in place and actually ensure that those laws are followed through. So if it is big personalities, child that has done something, okay, they have money to pay it off, and the case will be wiped, will be closed off, that kind of thing. So our society has a long way to go. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
So Ronka, I don't know what you think about it, but I think that in Africa we have a long way to go, because the rules that are made in Africa do not apply to everybody. They apply to the poor person. They apply to the person that doesn't have connection. If you're a big person and your child rapes somebody, your father has enough money to pay off the lawyer, to pay off the police, and they will get away with it. So that is a big problem in the society where we are in Africa, in addition to the fact that we live in a society where more is expected in this area on the girl than on the boy.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if Ronka can still hear us. Can you
I can
hear
hear
us?
you. I can. I totally agree. I do agree with what she said.
Thank you.
We
We cannot do justice on this topic without talking about the mental health side of things. And I believe it's about everybody that is involved. The mother, we've only seen the mother, we've not seen the video of the father again, and the girl, the boys involved, how can we as a community manage the mental health of those people involved in this event, especially the girl?
The first thing that we need to do as a society is to give them a break. We just need to give them a break. This girl, people just need to leave her alone and stop digging out history, digging out all sorts of dirt like we have no sin ourselves. Let her be. That's the first thing, because we are making a bad situation worse. Because I did hear, someone told me about some memes that people have started creating about this girl. So you can just imagine, these things are going to be there forever. They're going to be there forever. They're on people's phones, and people do not take sharing of child pornography seriously in Nigeria. So she's suffering already. What she has to deal with is already punishment enough. She's going to suffer for it for years and years to come, irrespective of the fact that she has a therapist or a professional or a team of professionals, or she's even going to need a team to help her move forward. So the first thing that we can do is just leave her alone and face our own demons. A lot of people don't know what their own children are doing. You find that they are online castigating this girl, crucifying her, but some of them have secret boyfriends, secret girlfriends, addiction to drugs, addiction to sex, addiction to shopping, jealousy, envy, hatred in their hearts, but they can't leave this girl alone. So that's one of the first things that we need to do. Now, beyond that, the school needs to take responsibility, so they can get her a psychologist, they can get her a psychiatrist, they can get her mom too needs that help. The trauma is going to affect her siblings as well. So it goes beyond her. So her whole family needs to be supported through this thing. The school needs to pay for them to get the help that they need. I picture myself in this sort of issue. If something like this happens, God forbid, to my daughter, I have to stand by her side. I need the support. She needs the support. We need to be together. I would give her a new name, because a name is symbolic. A name is symbolic,
Yes.
and they have messed up her name in because I can't say she messed up her name because she's a minor. She's a
Yeah.
minor. She's a victim. So I'm going to rebrand her. If I can take her out of the country, I will, to get her all the mental help that she can get because her mind has been traumatized. She's been abused. So she needs help. Her siblings need help. Her dad needs help. Her mom needs help. Every child that went on that Dubai trip and all the other children that have seen that video, watched while it was happening live, they all need help. It's not just the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know how many children were there. It's not just all those ones that need professional help. All the children, they need to debrief them. What do you know? What did you observe? What did you see? How did it make you feel? We need to go through all that with every single child for a period of time, not just once. They need to keep going over and over. They need to check all those children. They need to cleanse and detox all those children from what they have seen. But having said that, I can almost promise you that that's not the first time many of them have seen or done things like that. A lot of little children in all these so-called elite schools are doing those things. So she just happens to be the victim and the unfortunate one that got exposed in this manner.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much for that. I do really, the way you analyze everything, and you even went further. I just remember something in Africa when something happened to your daughter or something, even as a mother, when you're walking on the road, people will point at you. Oh, you don't know her. That's the woman, that's the mother of the girl that, and even the woman is not safe for her. And some people even be stoning her when she's walking on the street, that you've not really trained your child.
Absolutely.
So everybody needs support. And Ronke, you said something, you literally took that thing out of my mind, because I've been saying, I just believe this girl, she needs a new identity. She needs to be rebranded. She needs a new name. And you've just confirmed it as well. I don't know who is watching this that knows the mother that can just pass this video to her, and for her to know that everybody is with her. We are with her in this. And please, please, please stop sharing all this video. Ronke, I've said it, and I don't want to go over what she has said again. Please, we need to support them more than anything, because she said something again. You don't even know what your children are doing. They come home sometimes to be perfect, and sometimes they're not all that perfect. So we need to be careful, and not to be the first person to cast a stone. We always have to think that we might find ourselves in such situation. I don't pray for any of us to experience such thing, but it might even be something worse. How do we want people to treat us? How do we want the society to embrace us back in and change us and accept us back into the society? So let us embrace her, and let us know that it can happen to anybody. Thank you very much for that. Pauline, I'm coming back to you now. I believe, Ronke, I've said this question I'm about to ask, and you've touched on it before as well. But is there any consequences, in distributing and sharing or storing indecent video of minors?
Okay, yes, in the UK, it is a criminal offense to store indecent images of children. I think the law I got it says section 160 of the Criminal Justice Act 1988 makes the simple possession of indecent photographs or pseudo photographs of children an offense and carries a maximum of 5 years imprisonment. So yes, it is an offense to be able to do that, to share such indecent images of children. And again, it takes us back to, back in Africa, do we have these laws in place? I don't know. And if we have them in place, do we actually go ahead and implement them and incriminate those who are doing that? Because as Ronke said before, this is I said it was shocking. It was very hurtful. I imagine, God forbid, it's my child. It's the child is damaged within that social community, that society in which they find themselves, that they would need really a new environment so that they can be given, they can turn a new leaf and be given a chance to, to survive really. So I think that, some of these laws need to be put in place. And I think that people need to have empathy, to put yourself in the place
The
of
shoes.
the
The
parents of
mother
each
of, yeah.
child, how would it feel? So would you want someone sharing images of your child doing something like that? Yes, the child has done wrong, but this is not what they need at this time. They need empathy, they need love. So I would say the parents, the extended families, the local church or community just needs to pour out a lot of love to this family, to this child, to this mother, so that they are not covering their face with shame, because that goes in and digs the wound more. So these
Thank
children, this
you.
child and family, they just need love and acceptance and just forgiveness. Let's give them a second chance
Thank
so
you.
that this child doesn't end up taking her life away.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Everyone deserves second, third, fourth chances. So please give them a break and let them have another chance. Thank you for that, Pauline. What is the way forward, Ronke? And when I'm asking the way forward in everybody, in the lives of everybody involved, what is the way forward for the school? I believe the school has been closed down now. What do you think is the way forward for them? The school authority and the parent, the student, all the students now, they've closed their school, they have to stay home, and some of the students have seen the video as well. What is the way forward for them, Ronke?
With regards to the school closure, don't be perturbed. That's just to calm the emotions of the public down. The school will continue. The school has had many incidents. This is not the first time the school is having an incident like this or being in the limelight. So fear not. Well, it's not supposed to be. They will continue. You don't close the school down when they're on holiday. Nobody is there right now. The school is
That's a
on
very
holiday.
true.
So that makes no sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
Third term will come and they will continue. They might possibly start online and then they'll continue, just like Darwin College continued. And they're in full operations now. And what happened now is not as severe as what happened in Darwin College, where sadly
No.
Sylvester Romoli died and the school has continued. So trust me, this is going to blow away. That's why I said that she might not get any justice at all, being in Nigeria. So the children will continue. They're not going to say something happened in Dubai and then you close all the branches of the school, even the ones that are doing their best. If they are, then you close the whole school. What you need to do is to pick out the people that were responsible for the risk assessment, for the supervision, the people involved in that particular event, and then make them you deal with that. You can't say a teacher that has absolutely nothing, she's going to not get her wages again. Children that have year 9 children have exams, year 11s have
Exams.
IGCSE exams, and because some students have had sex, you will stop them from having the examinations, where we know that so many of the children are already doing stuff like that. So that is not sustainable, that is not practical, that's not going to work, it's just for show. Then we move on to the family. The family, I believe they will get help. I believe they will get help because a lot of attention has come into place. Professionals are speaking up and tell them that you need the help. You could see from the mother's video, which I watched, that she was very distressed. And a lot of
She
people were saying that
was.
she lied about the age of her daughter. She lied about X, Y, and Z. But if you are going through trauma, which she also was going through, it's not just her daughter. She was going through a lot. She might even lose her marriage because this is Nigeria. Because
I
when the child is
know.
bad, it's the mother's child. But when the child has
Yeah.
Easter, it's the father's child. So she might
That's the
even lose
father's
her
child.
marriage. She has to deal with her husband, herself, her other children, her friends, her community, her business, her whole life. So she also needs help. The family need help. They need someone. They need family therapy. It's not just
Therapy.
individual that they need. They need a group as a family. So they need hand holding. I don't know how well to do they are, but honestly, if it's me, I'm out of here. I can't stay here because Nigerians are too judgmental. You see, last week I met. There was a story about a teacher that flogged a 2-year-old baby 24 times. I don't know if you've heard that. You heard that story. So and this baby was almost died really because she couldn't read her ABC. I met the mother of the child. So there was a lot of social media outcry. The school has been closed down, just like Lagos State likes to do. They closed the school down. But I spoke to the lady and she was in tears. And she told me that she's living in fear in her community because people have shallow minds. And I keep saying that poverty is of the mind. She lives in fear. They now have to be indoors by 6 p.m. every day
Oh
because
God.
people are talking about them. They're saying you are the one that made them close the school that our children go down just because they beat your children. You are the one that made them close this woman's business down. You are wicked. You're this. People are chanting and talking all about her.
Look at
They
how
are
shallow their mind
so she can't
is.
even so when they want to buy food stuff, they have to go to a neighboring community to go and buy food or water because they don't feel safe buying things around in the community. So when there's the social media outcry and people move on, you see how quickly they move from Osinachi's case
That's an
to this
yeah.
one. When Osinachi's case came out, I said it's only a matter of time before another case comes and they move on.
Another
See how
case,
quickly
yeah.
the mob don't really care. They do not care indeed. All they want to do is vent their frustration and just chant and then move on to the next story. So they have to, this family, we have to deal with all of this when the noise dies down. When the next story comes out, they are still going to have to be the ones dealing with all of this. So they need to be strong and to be together. Nigerians are wicked. So if they can leave, they might have businesses that they've invested or whatever the case may be, but honestly, moving away from where they are, where people are not going to be pointing fingers, changing the school of the children, where they're not going to stigmatize them and make their life a living hell. And people will say, don't play with that girl. That's the girl that was on Twitter.
That's the girl,
Don't
yeah.
play with her. That's the brother of the girl that was on Twitter. That's the sister of the girl that's the cousin of, you don't know how far this thing can go. So they
I
need to
know.
change that. So this, what has happened, this is possibly going to be the greatest challenge of their lives
Of
as a
their lives.
family.
Huh.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
we need to understand that they are going through the greatest challenge of their lives, and it's being played right in front of the public, right in front of the whole world. The
The
greatest
world, yeah.
challenge of their lives. So I urge people, particularly mothers, to come out and crown this girl again. Don't throw her to the door. Help this girl to build again. And I've said it, I've prophesied. I'm not a prophet. I know that this girl is going to be great again. She's going to have
She will.
testimony. She's going to come
Of
out. She's
course.
going to shock people. She must do well. She must
She
do well for
will.
her own sake. Because when she does well, she will be attractive to everybody again. Right now,
That's it.
she's the girl that they slept with on Twitter. Imaginary boys slept with on Twitter. She's the girl that is the cowgirl, the this, all those names they've given her. But when she changes herself and she has a new name and she's the CEO of this and that and international this and that and that,
Amen.
everybody is going to want her. She's going to get the
Amen.
man that will understand that she went through trauma and she will have a story. She will have books that she's going to write. Lives are
Amen.
going to be
Amen.
transformed as a result of this girl's life. So they should just watch and
Amen.
see. Watch and see. She's going to shock everybody.
Well, how can you say you're not a pastor? You're just praying there. You
I'm
know,
just, no, I'm not. It's just that
you're
I can't believe it.
prophesying
People
into a
don't
life.
This is so little. She's so little. She's a victim. An adult,
She
grown people
is.
that have
She is.
children, are dragging people that have children in their own homes are dragging this girl. They can't leave her alone. They wake up every morning and they're talking. Oh, she's not 10, she's 13. Oh, she has a point. People's parents, people that should be in jobs, people that should be interceding and standing in the gap, people that should
Interceding.
be
That's
saying,
it.
what if it's my child? God, what would I want? What mercy will I want from other people? People that read their Bible and raise holy hands, people that pray 5 times a day are the ones that are doing such evil. It goes to show that religion, that's why the country is a mess. Religion is just something that we use for show. If it really is inside of us, then this is the time where we come out and show
To
that
show
love,
love.
but we're
That's
not
it.
doing it.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I believe you've educated some of us now, and some of us that have been crucifying her. We know now that we are not supposed to. We are to pray for her now. We have to show more love. If you have been crucifying her, saying bad things about our mother parenting style, this is a time for you to cry to Lord. That is a destiny that the devil is trying to terminate. That's a destiny that the devil is trying to take, and we as a church, as human beings, are going to stand and say, no, this child deserves another child. It deserves another chance, and we're all going to give it to her. We're going to give her space. We're going to pray for her. You don't need to be in front of somebody or with them before you can pray for them. You can pray from distance, and I know that God will surely answer all our prayers, as some of us are going to start praying for her right now. Thank you very much, Ronke. Somebody said, Abimbola Ali saying, Mama Posh, I have to say it the way she said it. Blessed by your Facebook group. That's from YouTube. Those watching us on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate all of you. But before we go, Pauline, I really want you to share a word of caution to everybody, really, because I believe everybody is involved one way or the other.
Okay, yes. So what I can say in rounding up is going back, I think that going back to the parents' responsibility, because I think that everything starts at home. And when we raise our children with intentionality, then the outcome, is most likely to be positive. So I want to encourage parents, be present, be involved. So
That's
you
it.
can be present but not involved. You can be present and you're in your corner on your device and your children are all over the place with their devices. Be present, be involved in their lives, make time with the children, talk to them, find out their moods, even get them to educate you on what is happening in their world. Have a relationship with them. And that relationship will go a long way. And there's a lot of research on the power of a relationship with your children and the outcome. When you have a relationship, a healthy, positive relationship with your child, they're less likely to be rebellious. They're less likely, to get into vandalism and all the things that the research is talking about. So have a relationship with your child. Make your home a loving, peaceful environment, an environment where children can be themselves, where they can make their mistakes, where they can be silly, and we correct them in love. And we are not harsh and beat them and silence them down. That is the environment where children thrive best, where your child can open up to you easily, regarding anything going on in their lives. It's not going to happen, most likely not happen as a surprise. So that is my word really for parents regarding this
Thank you.
situation going forward, because this has happened. We all have to learn and move forward. So I'm talking here about going forward. Ronke has spoken about leaving it behind. So now we have to move forward. And
That's
parents,
it.
we have an important role to play in our children's life. Let's be intentional and we'll be happy with the outcome when they get older.
Thank you. I hope you are underlining some key words that these wonderful women have been hammering on. Be intentional in your parenting skills, in the life of your children. Be present in the life of your children, not just leaving them to the world to raise for you. Some people, they believe is the responsibility of the church to actually raise their children. Some believe it's the school, and some believe, well, it's only two people that actually bring child to the world, but the whole community will raise them. So it's not my duty, it's not my role to raise them. The community will raise them. I know we all have parts to play, but it is solely your responsibility to raise your children. Don't leave it to the Sunday school teachers. No. Don't leave it to the school teachers. No. They spend more of their time with you. Please try to be intentional and be present in their life. Right, Ronke, what word of advice? I know you've said so many things, and from everything you've been saying, a lot of advice has been in it. But for your last advice on this topic, what would you like to leave with my viewers and listeners this afternoon? Ronke, can you hear me? Right, I'm not sure if.
I could. I was on mute. Sorry about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So my last words.
She's gone.
I think the internet have started to show that Ronke is
Nigeria.
actually from Nigeria. All right. Okay. So thank you very much, Ronke. Thank you. I really understand. In fact, I'd given up that you're going to join us. So thank you very much for. Oh, I think she's back.
Yes, I am. Sorry about that. So my
Oh,
last
don't be
word is
sorry.
just for us to be kind to one another, to show love to one another. The sort of love that we want to receive, the sort of mercy that we want to receive is the one that.
Oh God, this internet doesn't want us to hear that. But those few words that she has dropped are really, really loaded. Be kind to one another, you know, and show love to one another. The kind of love you want to receive, give it. I think she's back now.
Yeah, the same kind of love that you want, the same kind of mercy that you want. And we must all remember that we have a history. One might
Mm.
not be as ugly as the other one, but we all have a history. And I pray that the Lord is going to give us all beauty for ashes and make this mess of hers a message. It's not over, Princess J. It's only just started to get better for you.
Amen.
Oh, amen, amen, and amen. Thank you very much for that word of prayer. Yeah, the Lord will surely turn these mess into a message for you. I believe really, really in that. And as a mother watching us, you know, you might be thinking you don't know just because the social media have not brought my son's or my daughter's case into the limelight. You don't know what I'm facing. I want you to know that that pain that you are going through now or experiencing at this moment, the Lord is going to turn it into a purpose for that child and for you. You know, sometimes the Lord always allow us to have our own experience in order for us to be a vessel for Him. So please, let us pray and be kind to this family during this period. I really, really appreciate all my guests. I thank you, all my viewers. Like I always say, without you all, there isn't Beautiful Mind. Thank you very much for coming out tonight to support, to show love. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm not taking it for granted at all. Thank you. Please help us share this video because I believe a lot of things have been said into this video that can bless homes. So please help us share it so that other mothers and even children will pick one or two things from this video as well. I want to say thank you to my producer, AY, the ambassador, for putting all of this together. And to you all out there, thank you very much for always having a date with us. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Until next week, when I will be bringing another informative and educative topic your way, I remain your host, Adeyinka Adeomi. Bye for now.